time to join me. I'm, of course, Janine at Grey Horror, and I'm delighted to introduce my latest interviewee, who is Radi Nikolov. Radi, how are you?
Hello, hello. Very good. Thanks so much for having me.
No problem. Thank you so much for making the time. For those who may be familiar in the British Horror Film Festival circuit will know your face, but for those who are new to you, can you give us a bit of an introduction?
Yes, of course. So I am a filmmaker. I'm a director. I'm a writer, and also I'm the festival director of Screams by the Sea. I've been working in the horror and the genre space for quite some time, and interestingly enough, I developed an affinity towards weird, wacky comedies.
Yeah, that's becoming quite evident as I get to know you. The comedic side of you is really coming out, and it's really exciting. So the premise that we're meeting today is to talk about your new film, which is Deadly Scare. So can you give us a bit of a rundown and a top line of what Deadly Scare is and what it's about and what we can expect?
Yes, of course. So Deadly Scare is basically a movie about a group of serial killers running an escape room together, right? So it is a wacky, over-the-top comedy about hidden secrets, personal dynamics, and career-driven serial killers. It is insane. It's ridiculous. It is exciting, and we are very, very thrilled that we're making it.
Yeah, it sounds like a wild premise. Where did you even come up with that? Like serial killers in an escape room. It's hard enough running away from one in a house, and you've got a whole building full of them. Where did you come up with that?
Well, basically, it was one of those things where we're like shooting the shit. It's what does John Kramer do between killings? What is the R&D of John Kramer's workshop? Does he have a little community where they all get together and they make traps? What happens there? And we started it was almost like a joke, and it was like, oh, this is funny, isn't it? And then we had a few people and an escape room location that was horror themed. I'm like, guys, this is writing itself. We got to do something here, right? So we had the location and we shot something, and that was before the pandemic. That was 2019. So we shot this little short film. We over a long weekend, and then we made it. And then the pandemic happened, and then some festivals went online. It went and did its thing, and then every person we kind of showed it to, everyone was like, "Well, by the time it sort of like got going, we wanted to know more about this killer, like what happens next." As I was locked away in the pandemic, and I was like, well, I'm a writer. Like, is there more? Like, what's in there? What's in that short? Like, what happens after the killers kill somebody in these like convoluted traps? Do they clean up? Do they have a team that cleans up for them? What happens with the bodies? Like, do they just throw them away, or can they harvest the organs? And all of these macabre, weird questions, right?
Yeah.
Got us on the road of writing this wacky comedy about what is the career of a slasher killer that has like a convoluted plan behind them.
That is wild. And actually, there's something very similar in what you're saying, but not in a comedy scope. There's an old TV series, I say old, probably about 10 years probably by now. I think it's called The Following or something similar. And it's Kevin Bacon TV series, and he is investigating a network of serial killers. So that's really cool premise. Like, but you're taking it on its head and like flipping it into a comedy space. What was the decision behind making it a comedy?
The decision of making it a comedy was a strange one in the sense of like it always had the blend of horror and comedy, right? And it was supposed to, the original short film had this design, which was supposed to be, it starts as a wacky comedy and you're watching almost the testimonials of a killer, right? And it's a bit over the top, it's a bit slapstick, it's a bit like, oh, he's a goof, he's an idiot. And you're sort of like laughing along until it gets real and it starts, oh, I'm not laughing anymore. Is this a real thing? And then they had like a long one taker. They kind of sort of like witnessed the murder from start to finish without cutting type of thing. And it wasn't funny anymore at the end. And the end was very sort of like, it gives you like, left you with cold feet, right? It was very unnerving, very, very sort of like not nice. But as we started writing it, that was very, very tense and very, very like heavy. And as we try to balance the two sort of like sides, the bit of the comedy kind of leads you into the horror, we decided, you know what, actually there is something more to be said about having more of the comedy into the horror. And almost like instead of trying to present horror on top of the comedy, like use comedy to lean you in, why don't we just like get the comedy to ride us through the film and then set that on the backdrop of horror, and then as you watch it, as you laugh, as you're entertained with these groups, these idiots, all of a sudden you come out of the film and it's like, hold on a second, I'm pretty sure they just killed somebody. And you don't really realize the fact that you've just witnessed this and you laughed alongside it. You know what I mean? Almost like taking like Monty Python sketches from the back in the day and like giving them a more up-to-date kind of sort of like slapsticky comedy thing. Because they were very important things and they're very kind of sort of like heavy subjects. But you laugh at them, you're entertained with them. It's like, oh, this is funny, it's hilarious. Oh, but yeah, also the housing crisis is a problem. What are we going to do about that?
Yes, right, exactly. And then the premise of having it in an escape room is already stressful enough. Like I've only done one, and because of how much we consume, and I imagine you're watching a lot as well in that genre. I don't like confined spaces. That is not okay. And then you put in a group of people that you supposedly trust who ultimately cannot make great decisions. And that's already really stressful. So how are you going to, like, without spoiling, obviously, but like, how are you finding that in terms of writing that dynamic with the characters that are in that space? And then you've got this external threat as well.
It's awesome. So we had one of those things where there were I think there was 6 different killers at some point, so we had to rein it in. There was a lot of different characters, so we decided we're gonna take every kind of sort of like horror killer and represent them in the movie. So we're gonna have like your classic slasher killer that kind of sort of like almost like stoic, doesn't speak, kind of sort of like shows up and sort of stares you down. And then we have like the more kind of sort of like scream, kind of more theatrical killer. Then we had at some point we also like tapped into like the supernatural, like we had like a witch doctor type of thing. So there was a lot of different killers in the escape room, right? And on top of all that, talking about like different characters, we have, because the whole premise is the landlord comes in on an inspection, right? And the landlord is one of those, it's more wealthy than it's worth, goes around like has too much wealth for its own care, right? And it's about to turn the escape room into flats. Even though they had like established agreement and all these killers like knew what they're doing. And then we now have the family of the landlord trapped in the escape room. So we have all of these like characters that are all of our killers, and we have all of the landlord's kind of family, and they're all different characters as well. We have the classic landlord doesn't believe anything. We've got the classic kind of sort of like girlfriend that's like, I don't want to be here. We've got the completely oblivious teenage child seeking daddy's approval. And on top of all that, we have a 12-year-old child that is, she's not fazed by anything. All of this horror nonsense, she's seen it all in the movies. She's watched them all. She knows all of the obscure splatter films. These murders that are happening right in front of her, slapstick, weak sauce. Real. So she's absolutely psychotic until at some point she realizes, hold on a second, this is actually real, and she takes charge, and she's just ridiculous. So how are we balancing all this? It's insane. We have at some point, I'm pretty sure we have like 4 to 6 different people on screen at the same time. So it is very sort of like from a directorial point of view, it's like there's a lot of blocking, there's a lot of bits and pieces that are moving. It's like, okay, this little section is going to move here so we can get different shots. But also we are using a lot of the setting of the escape room, because a lot of the escape rooms are technically sets, right? So we're building a lot of these like spaces in the escape room that allow us to have like, okay, so cameras kind of sort of move behind the scenes of the escape room, right? Goes into the tunnels, reaches and grabs people and drags them into trapdoors. So there's a lot of different sort of dynamics that keeps all of this narrative kind of moving forward and getting us to where we need to be at the end.
That all sounds like you're spinning a lot of plates. That's a lot. And I'm assuming this is a full feature, not a short, because my goodness, what a lot to cram into like a 20-minute space. And how are you finding the pre-production stage at this moment? Because you're just going live with your funding, which we'll get to shortly. But I mean, how are you finding this process in the early stages?
It is extremely exciting. So we've already shot a test scene. So we've seen our lead actress play the role of Minnie Wiener. It was absolutely spectacular. This was very, very exciting. So this was already giving us a massive amount of confidence in the comedy and in the sketches that we've written in the film. On top of all that, we just had a kind of big production meeting about our art design and what we're going to do. Because again, we are an independent feature film. We're doing this on a low budget. We're trying to be smart and clever on what we do and how we do things. There are certain set pieces in the film that will probably require like a little set build. So we're already looking at some locations. So all of this is happening, and it's extremely exciting. We've already seen some basements and some hotels that are kind of sort of lending us locations to kind of sort of like tap into and get it made. So it's very, very exciting. And yeah, we're doing quite a lot of stuff. We're mapping out the escape rooms and what makes logical sense. I'm literally just working on a map of some of the pieces just earlier today. So yeah, it's very, very exciting. Pre-production is very thrilling. It's kind of sort of like pie in the sky, everything's possible, but then at some point you kind of sort of go, great, how do we make this now?
Exactly that. And have you come across any surprises or challenges already in this early stage of pre-production?
I mean, constantly. Do you know what I mean? It's finding a space and realizing, okay, cool, brilliant. Well, we have the space, but we don't have enough money to make a set, right? Or we've got these set pieces that require a lot of set dressing. Is there a clever way that we can design a shell of a set that we can build, that we can redress a bunch of times? On top of all that, doing that test scene that we've already recorded, which I've shared with you and I can share with the audience as well. We found out that the original escape room that helped us so many years ago now have grown up and they have a whole other business and they have a whole other escape room that was like, oh, we can film here. So that's where we showed the test scene, and we found out we can do quite a lot in this small space with some funny gags and some funny wide angle lenses. We found out surprisingly how much we can probably do in a small space when you have like a funny character and a funny performance. So there are a lot of like challenges that are kind of surprises, but also learning opportunities, because of course we go back and we change the script and we add everything that we learned. It's like, great, brilliant. Well, we need to do more of that.
Exactly. And that leans itself so wonderfully to independent filmmaking, because you're often thinking on the cuff, you're on a budget. Obviously, you've got restraints in that respect. But there's such a creativity and a level of and an approach to how these films are executed that is unlike anything I've ever known. Like coming into this space only in this past year, just realizing how efficient indie filmmakers are into adapting their scenes. As you say, like if the set's not ready, or if you've got a perfect location but actually on seeing it's not right, then you've got to move and adapt on a dime, and it's really quite a challenge, but it sounds like you've got everything in line so far, which is great.
So far.
Yeah. And how have you found the casting and crew process? Have you got your team together? I'm assuming you have already. And how is it? How do you even make a start with that, just in case anyone's looking to start doing their own film?
Yeah, of course. Brewing is very exciting. It's always, especially when you do an independent film, right? So start with your shorts, make them for absolutely no money. Try to find what you have available around you. And I'm always a big fan of the fact that this is not rocket science. This is filmmaking, right? We can watch a bunch of YouTube videos online. We can learn the skills that we need to know. And I'm a big fan of teaching people that are keen on doing stuff. It's like, brilliant. You want to learn about sound? Cool, brilliant. Come along. I'll show you the recorder. I'll show you the buttons. I'll show you the EQ. I'll show you how this works. Let's crack on. Let's make it. Talking about casting is fantastic. So we've got our two leads in the film. So we've got Kimberly Nixon, which a few people might know from Fresh Meat and Wild Child. She is an absolute comedy legend. She's phenomenal. So she has agreed to be part of the film. She's playing Meanie Wiener. She is the
what a name! What a name! That's already set the tone wonderfully.
She was. We were asking, so what drew you to the project? It was like, are you kidding? The name was hilarious, and I'm like, brilliant. Yeah, that is the type of comedy we're making.
Yeah.
And we also have Christos Lonton. Christos Lonton has done a bunch of things with Netflix and BBC, but also people in the genre space might know him from an AMC show called The Terror. If people have not seen the terror, I highly recommend it. Fantastic show. It deserved more in its release, but it was fantastic shows. Christos is somebody that I've worked in the past with, and he is playing our second lead, Vasil, this East European kind of character that is long lineage of serial killing. But at the moment, we are also casting the rest. So we're already looking at some roles and some opportunities that have come our way. So we're moving along, and we're moving fast, right? So independent filmmaking is one of those things. It's in making any movie that I found out, and you probably know that as well. It's a magic, right? It's movies exist on just fairy dust, right? It's fantastic. And independent movies even more so, in a sense of like the state of a movie is not being made, right? That's the natural state of any movie. And when you have a concoction of ingredients that all of a sudden sparks some momentum, you just gotta go with it. You go with the momentum, and you just make it, and you make the best thing out of the ingredients you have, which means that at the moment we're kind of sort of looking at shooting in September. We're crewing at the moment. We're casting some of the other roles. It's going to probably get together very last minute, as a lot of these indie films kind of sort of do. Like we don't really have the opportunity to kind of sort of like lock a lot of things in place before we start shooting. So casting, we've got the key elements in place, a lot of the key sort of roles as well, behind the scenes, but we are casting, we are crewing up until the last minute. So yeah, if anybody wants to know more about it, drop me a message.
Exactly. I'll pop all your socials and everything down in the description, so everyone can know where to get hold of you. And obviously we'll drop the demo scene in that you mentioned as well. I'll pop that on at the end of the interview, so everyone can get a glimpse of what they're in for. And in terms of, like, obviously you were saying you kind of sometimes you've got dates in mind, but sometimes you have to play a little bit loose with things as things come up. Have you got a rough deadline for when we're expecting this to be released and when people can get their eyes on Deadly Scare?
Yes, of course. So our plan is we're shooting in mid to late September. We then go into post-production over the winter, and we are hoping to have, for people that are part of our producers and executive producers, to have a virtual screening for test screening early next year, so that we can start like dialing in the edit and all of that good stuff. And we're probably going to do like a cast and crew maybe late March next year, and thinking about doing festivals 27 is our goal with it. Again, all of this, touch wood, is the plan at the moment, but every plan does not meet the contact with the enemy.
No, exactly that. And again, if anyone wants to keep abreast of what's going on and live updates, to follow the socials that are tagged, of course. And then you're not shy in giving us information. Let's put it that way. So we'll all know about it, which is great. And where can people support Deadly Scare?
Right now, people can support Deadly Scare right now. So the Indiegogo campaign has launched. So we're crowdfunding this movie. We're crowdfunding the production budget of this movie, and then we're going to use this to finance our shoot in September. And then we're going to use mixtures of tax credit and additional financing later on to kind of sort of like get it over the line, and do the post-production and lock it in. But yeah, so people can support right now. They can go on our Indiegogo page and they can check out all the amazing perks. We've got some amazing art already done. So behind me, you can see one of the posters that we've created. We've created 3 different posters that are specifically for the crowdfunding campaign. Yeah, we have t-shirts, posters. We also have a choose your own adventure book, which is very exciting.
Okay. All right. Tell us a bit more about that.
So I'm a big fan of games and choose your own adventure books from back in the day. And I was like, oh, wouldn't it be fun if you can just play that? And I sat down and I wrote the demo of a choose your own adventure book where you play as Meanie Wiener locked in your escape room, and you're trying to get to your victim who's just outsmarting you just enough that it's always like a little bit like one step ahead of you. And you're trying to figure out like, what was the puzzle here? Like you get locked. It's absolutely ridiculous. But you can get a little taster of what the movie is and a little bit of the plot and the character different dynamics of our serial killers right now. Like everybody can get it. Doesn't matter what kind of contribution you want to do. You get the demo book from, like part of it right now, so it's ready to go. So we're writing like a more fleshed out version of this game book that's going to be part of the campaign and part of the perks. So yeah, there's quite a lot of different things and different ways of people to get involved.
That sounds amazing. And is there anything else you'd like to tell us about Deadly Scare before I move on to our quick fire round?
Help us make it happen. Let's make it happen. Let's make something absolutely ridiculous, and let's build a community around it. We've got Discords, we've got all sorts of different things.
And I know firsthand from meeting you in person across a couple of festivals, including your own, that you are all about community and all about driving that spirit. So I have every faith that this is going to be a success and you're going to have the best team around you. So a little bit of flattery, but it's absolutely the truth. So yeah, it's well deserved. Okay, so we're going to move on to a very quick fire round. So first answer that comes into your head. I know, hope you're ready, relaxed, ease the shoulders. You ready? It's not that hard, I promise. Okay, shorts or features?
Features.
Okay, Freddy or Jason?
Jason.
Okay, favorite subgenre of horror?
Comedy.
Oh, okay. Favorite score or soundtrack?
Oh, The Substance.
Oh, so good, so good. Yeah, that's on my gym playlist at the moment. Not that I go. Okay, an actor you'd love to work with?
Oh God, Nicolas Cage.
Oh, right. Would you have him in like a Willy's Wonderland where he doesn't speak, but he's all like stoic, or would you have him go like face off Nick Cage?
Oh no, we're gonna do something weird. It's gonna be something ridiculous. Yeah,
like Mandy, right? How good is that? Right? Yeah, I just thought about it. I could see it in your eyes, like Mandy. Okay. And a film you'd love to remake or a book you'd love to adapt?
Oh, there was I am a big I'm a nerd, right? I am a Dungeons and Dragons nerd. I'm a gamer. Diablo. Diablo is a big thing that is on my wish list. That sits on my thing. There is a series of books that were about a lot of ghoulies in a dungeon in a cursed piece of armor. I'll love to do that. I'll love to do something grim, dark fantasy.
That would be fun. I'd love to see you in a dark space. That would be so cool. Okay, and then my final question is one that I always throw out to everybody I interview. If you're going to schedule a double feature of 2 horror films for us to get to know you, what would you pick?
Oh, to get to know me. Oh, God damn it. We'll probably put Alien in there because it's my favorite film. But then something, do you know what I love? Maybe not many people know about this, but I love a good musical. I love a good musical. I'm trying to think of like a good horror musical, but
I've got one, and it's my favorite film, but I don't know if you know it. You must know it though, because you're into international cinema. Happiness of the Katakuris.
no, I don't.
What? It's Takeshi Miike. It's Evil Dead meets The Sound of Music. This is right up your street. What? How do you not know about this film? This is why I shout about it all the time. Yeah, you need to put that on your watch list.
Yeah. Do you have a movie though? I honestly so weird.
To find another
but like that's so weird.
What about Repo? Repo, the genetic opera.
Yes, there we go.
Nailed it. There we go. That's why I'm programming a film festival. It's all up there, really. Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Radi, for taking the time and for telling us all about Deadly Scare. Cannot wait to see it all coming together. And again, I've linked all of your socials, the Indiegogo campaign and everything below, so everyone can keep abreast of what's going on through pre-production, right into production and post, and of course, when the film's released. And guys, I know times are tough at the moment, but if you are an avid independent film fan like myself, a fan of the genre and wish to support a really cool project that's something that sounds really unique, then do check out the Indiegogo page because, yeah, we want to see this made. I'm excited. It sounds wild.
Thank you so much for having me. This was absolutely amazing, and thanks so much for the support.